that old Dell McGee went and done it again, Brent. Georgia getting a boost in its running back room with former Florida Gator Trevor Etienne, brother of Travis Etienne, that played at Clemson, now with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And you start looking at Georgia's running back room, Brent. You have the return of Branson Robinson, Andrew Paul, another year in the system, the trio of freshmen that are in there. Cash Jones is still around. I'm just saying he may get squeezed out a little bit. That's fine. But then Etienne, just a really productive back for Florida. And interestingly enough, with these transfers that have come to Georgia, typically they've had a really good game against Georgia before they come to UGA. Etienne, not as much the case. Yeah. That was probably his worst game of last season.
And what's amazing, just I still think just the weirdness of the Gator coming to Georgia, like we could see like when Brent and Cox went to Florida, like, hey, you're kind of in essence taking a step down at that point in time. This is different. This is but much needed, by the way. Much needed. You needed a level of experience in the backfield that you just didn't have otherwise.
Let's jump in here to some of these highlights. Start with they ran all over Tennessee.
Very much so. And this is counter out of the pistol. Georgia obviously runs counter and runs it a good bit, but that's a horrendous effort by that guy. But still, yards after contact and then the extra little burst. He's obviously not quite as tall as his brother, but the ability to make moves and still stay at the same speed is very evident with his running style. He's fun to fun to watch run.
I like how he keeps the ball tucked high and tight.
Mm-hmm. Yes. 2 fumbles in his career.
Look at you having that stat ready to go. We didn't even talk about that beforehand.
No, we didn't actually. I just looked at it though. I will say I just looked at it before we started.
So good patient runner between the tackles. I don't think that there's a lane that he's not comfortable with. He can go inside, he can go outside.
Right.
He plays low to the ground. I just like what he brings. I don't know a recent Georgia comp that works for him. Maybe there's one that comes to your brain.
Not really, honestly. I mean, I think he's thicker than Dayne Edwards a little bit. At least it looks the way. A little bit more explosive too. I mean, but yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, the one I will say, watching him and certain moves we'll see later was a little DeAndre Swifty.
Yeah, I was somewhere in the Swift and Sony Michel lane, somewhere in there.
Yeah, which those are 2 pretty good names to toss out.
Here he is against Tennessee again. Tight end crosses the formation, pistol.
This is missed tackles forced. This split zone action, boom, 1 miss, 2 miss, and then hit the accelerator and be physical at the end of the run. One of the things like you're going to consistently see in this is him getting, except for maybe like one play, him getting yards after contact. His yards after contact per attempt was over 4 yards a carry, right at 4.1, which would have led Georgia this past year. More so than Kendall Milton, by the way.
Not a lot of wasted movements and always kind of positively moving forward.
Yes.
I always like to see that from running backs, of always staying with the play. And that's how things bounce open for him. Because I wouldn't say that Florida was the greatest blocking team, and we know that they had offensive woes. But
I'll get
in
to
this
that
game in particular, they had everything clicking.
Yep.
They just didn't do this all the time.
No. This one's vision. Like almost the same exact play, except boom, vision to see it, and then go accelerate. Fight through contact, take the guy for another ride for 5 yards.
Good Lord, horrendous. Tennessee.
Yes, this is horrendous defense.
Oh man,
I mean,
I see
5.
I see the score and the time, but my God,
that hurts me watching. But but still,
just go sit on the bus.
The vision to go away from the sort of play side and then still fight through the contact, because it wasn't just 5 in his whiff. You like to see that. And boom, patience, accelerate, keep the feet moving. Like you said, ball control, all good.
Against South Carolina?
This is the one where if it's blocked well, he's putting the foot on the gas. And this is when, we had talked even previously, what's the difference between him and his brother? I don't think he quite has the full 5th gear like Travis had and what made him a first-round pick, but it's close. It's not, but he doesn't have the just massive accelerator that Travis had.
His stride's a little shorter, but he's a little shorter, so
Yes.
that's to be expected.
But this is, by the way, this is the other point you talked about Florida blocking well. When it's blocked well, look what he's getting you.
Yeah.
Florida, when you look at the comparison between Florida and Georgia this past year, the numbers are exactly flipped. So yards before contact, which is more of an offensive line metric, blocking metric. Florida was 10th in the conference. Georgia was 3rd. So Georgia was a lot better. In terms of yards after contact as a team, Florida was 3rd, Georgia was 10th. So now you're putting a guy who gets crazy good yards after contact with a much better blocking unit. Ideally, that's recipe for success.
Cover your eyes with these uniforms from Florida.
Those are horrendous. I noticed that when I was going back through these, and just horrendous. But this is inside zone, and this is the vision. This is the part. This is the run here. I was like, this is very DeAndre Swifty.
Mm-hmm.
And also he wears number 7 too. So like that also helped. But boom, jump cut, see that, accelerate, see it out of, run through contact. That's what running back looks like.
We say shifty a lot with the running backs, but look at his feet there before he hits the hole, and it'll come back around. You can see it again, but you can see it some of the open field too. Just the quick chops. And
that's, you hear me, like, you've probably tired of me saying this when we do running back stuff, but patience to the hole, accelerate through it. Like this is exactly what that is. And what it's talking about.
These uniforms. Man. Don't even think about the black jerseys with this guy having to have undergone this. I mean, Georgia's look better, but the helmet in particular is trash. Oh no, we have another play from it. I forgot.
Yes. But this is what, by the way, this is when you give this guy a lot of open space, see you, like no shot. And then be physical and get another 7, 8, 9.
Now, we say that about DeAndre Swift. I don't think this guy is as good of a pass catcher as Swift is.
Not natural. But I will say this, 2 years, caught all 30 of his targets. Now, granted, his average depth of target in those 2 years is -1 yard. So everything is behind the line of scrimmage.
I mean, that was pretty much Florida's offense with Murray.
Right. He's not, winning 10 yards down the field and, catching an end breaker. But the key is you get him in open space and he's making people miss consistently. Yeah. And then punt, by the way, let's go find work and punish another guy. That's fun to watch. Like his tape is fun to watch.
It almost looks like slightly cartoony the way that his hips and shoulders can do different things. You know what I mean? Like his hips, the way that he's running, it's almost like he's high stepping a little bit, but I don't know. It's just he puts him. He gets up and down very quickly. Yeah,
a height thing.
Yeah,
how to be fast when you're that height.
It's fun to watch. That was
I may know a thing or two about that. I'm a fellow vertically challenged individual. This is sick. Boom, jump cut. Make another guy miss. Which LSU's defense, by the way, that's another horrendous defense. But patience, boom, jump cut, and then go.
This is when LSU was still using Harold Perkins in a dumb way.
But like again, these are the natural instincts that you want to see, and we talk about this consistently with F. I'm feeling a lot. Like running back is the one position where like random person walking by be like, "Ooh, that guy's good."
Yeah,
because of the just natural ability that you can see that comes to light with running backs, and that's what this is.
He is shorter, yes, but like the thing that Dayne Edwards has of like get to the hole, but you don't really see him, and he can squirt through the other side. Etienne plays low, even though he's already shorter, and so I think there's some of that too. Of like the defense can lose him in there with the big guys.
And that's a great point with Dayne too, because Dayne's make you miss was the quickness and the ability to just slight steps to never get squared up on. Dayne's yards after contact per attempt were like 2.85. I think his was 4.1. Like he gets consistent yards after contact, takes more, and I think is bigger in the upper body potentially. It's just different.
Yeah. We know how hard it is to run on Missouri.
This is actually, I think this the passing play. Yeah, this is a great job of him finding work and going towards your quarterback, and then just hitting the gas pedal when you're in open space.
I didn't know if this is one of those that Curry would call an extension of the run game somehow.
No, definitely not. I will say what's interesting here is
I'm joking about that. I hope
I
people
know.
heard my sarcasm.
Yes, Mertz, goes right when literally every receiver in the pattern goes the other way. Okay, I get the line sort of caved in, and that's where the space is. And a good job by him of being patient. But again, what's Etienne's job here? All right, just go be an outlet and then go find work. You see your quarterbacks going to the right, when he turns around, look. Okay, I'm gonna go find open space, make myself a target, and then catch and go.
Backyard ball.
30 out of 30. Nary a drop in 2 years.
Did not expect the word nary. Let's look at what he did against Georgia.
Now, the people remember this play, and obviously that was the first drive of the game, but his role in terms of where is he going to improve when he gets to Georgia, it's this right here, pass pro, because this is a whiff. Luckily, the QB gets the ball out for Florida's sake.
This is one of those this is one of the reasons I like PFF, because you look at this play and you say it's a great play for Florida. They scored. It's all true. And Etienne still did an awful job.
Right. And you don't notice it because the ball's out. The next one, you notice it more so. And let's go back to the previous play, because one thing with it is just sort of when he's already low to the ground, can't be dipping even lower and pushing forward and leaning like that. Like
you get shoved away that way.
You're just going to get pushed to the side. And it's the same sort of thing in the next play. You can't jump at him with the head down like that. Stay square, head up, see what you hit. This one is more, I think, just as Dumas Johnson being physical, but again, you see him sort of leaning and falling forward back more on this plane versus kind of on this plane and taking a dive at him versus, oftentimes, like we talk about with this stuff, it's just that holding for a count.
Because you can dig in and just get in the way.
Right.
Yeah.
And slow him down and hope that the QB gets the ball out, knowing that, you got amount of time already. Now, Florida's route combos on these things are not the greatest. So
we're not doing Florida Don't Lie. We're doing film
right.
Don't Lie.
But I will say this, on last season, 23.9 pass block grade. He gave up 5 pressures and 41 pass block snaps. Like, it's an area of improvement for him and something obviously they're going to work on. But, if he keeps doing the running stuff that he's done, you combine the much better sort of blocking scheme with his abilities, a much needed addition for Georgia's running back room. And the experience part is big, because while you have talent, specifically with the 3 freshmen, but Branson's coming off an injury, Andrew Paul didn't play much, Roger Robinson didn't play much. Like, experience matters at that position.
Would you agree that with this, at this point, and I get spring ball's coming and there'll be all kinds of things and there could be injuries, you could have guys leaving. I don't know what's going to happen, but as we record this right now, would you agree that Georgia's best 2 running backs are Etienne and Branson Robinson if healthy?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Like, that's the 1-2 punch.
I didn't see enough explosiveness from Roger Robinson. I'd like to see some more explosiveness from him. Andrew Paul, you just didn't get to see. He looked a lot better at the end, and you would think he looks a lot better the further he gets away from the injury. But yeah, and then the freshmen are just unknown until you see him against. Now, the Frazier kid looks like a game breaker. The Phillips kid, big time game breaker speed, might be used a little differently, but you don't know until you see those guys on the field.
I joke about my love affair with Cash Jones often. Cash is going to have to work hard to keep his role in this team, because that room just got a lot deeper, I think, than what it was last season.
Very much so. Very much so.
Now, the room would have been deeper had Branson been healthy. And when he went out, Georgia was kind of chasing some stuff. So I saw Dylan Bell play there. I don't think you see Dylan Bell play running back if this group is healthy, because I think these freshmen, at least one of them is going to get involved early.
Yes, Georgia. I would agree. But this is a big pickup just because much like we talked about last year, where I didn't think the running back position with the way Georgia's offensive structure mattered a ton. It ended up mattering because you didn't block as well as maybe you thought you were going to. But then also just the experience factor, you just didn't see. And then the next injury, it's not so much about the existing injuries; those next injuries, you finally hit a tipping point at some point.
So that's the update of Georgia's running back room. Trevor Etienne, a Georgia Bulldog. This has been filmed live from
Also, still interesting to hear.
Yes, it is the name association, but this is college football as we have it now. If you enjoy what we do, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're the most popular among all Georgia fans of recording. We have surpassed 42,000. So we have 50K in our site, and that's going to be just a big old celebration once we get there, just like 40K was. So thank you all for tuning in to Film Don't Lie.